as much anymore, and plus it lasts a lot longer, so it's healthier. The problem is that it's toxic to the fish. So we have to dechlorinate it. And who knows my special secret about what we use to dechlorinate, the natural way?
Charcoal.
Say again?
Charcoal.
Charcoal. Say again? The sun.
Vitamin C.
Vitamin C, yes! Gold star. Vitamin C. The sun used to work, and the sun does work if it's just chlorine, but not if it's chloramine. When it's combined with ammonia, it'll last for a week in the sun. Chlorine on its own, in 4 hours in the sun, it's gone. So you can set it out overnight and it'd be gone, but that's not true anymore. But vitamin C dechlorinates it instantly, and the EPA says that vitamin C is the least toxic, most effective way to dechlorinate. So no more trips to Petco if you have fish, no more of that sulfur-based whatever stuff it is. Vitamin C is a very effective antioxidant, and it neutralizes the chlorine ions and makes it safe for fish. Here's the dosage. One chlorine tab, one vitamin C tab. I like Costco. They used to have 500 milligram pills that you would take. Now there are 1,000. Okay, 1,000 dechlorinates 100 gallons. So a half of one will dechlorinate a whole bathtub full of water, and it does it instantly. So here's the experiment. Water one of your plants the normal way. Get a bucket of water, dechlorinate, and water on the other side. Now, why do I think this might be a good experiment to try? What do you think the difference will be? What's the chlorine doing to the plants? Yeah, it gives the ecosystem a chance. It gives the bacteria, the beneficial bacteria, the ecosystem gives it, the microbes, gives them a chance to flourish. You're not just completely killing them off. Very important part of the life cycle of the plants. In fact, our own, okay, so here's a little biology for you. How many of you heard the word genome? You've heard of DNA. Scientists use the word genome to express the concept of all of our DNA. In a package would be our genome, the human genome. Okay, so if you were to visualize the size of our human genome as something about this big, the bacteria that function within us that help to process our vitamins and give us our immune system and so on and so forth, the genomes of the bacteria inside of us are about this big. Genetically, in terms of that, we are more bacteria than we are human beings. So, anyway, same thing with the plants. Give the microbes a chance to chlorinate your water. So,
did you say it was 50 milligrams for 50 gallons of water? Is that what you were saying?
It's 500 milligrams. That's a typical vitamin C tablet. It's about 500 milligrams. The Costco ones are 1,000 now. And by the way, when we do this for fish, just like human beings, need vitamin C. So it's good for them.
I'm sorry, what did you say? 500 milligrams of vitamin C for how many gallons?
It's 500 milligrams. 500 milligrams for 50 gallons. Like for one 55-gallon barrel or like a bathtub full of water would be 500 milligrams of vitamin C. So you could crush it up, grind it up under a glass or something. You can kind of grind it up, or it dissolves pretty fast, but you kind of grind it up a little bit and throw it up in there. So it's 50 gallons.
Would you think you notice the taste on the water if you did that?
Yeah, did you ever go to the restaurant or like the place I like to have lunch? They have the little the wedges of lemons there. You can do it with lemons too. You know how you put the lemon in the water?
Right.
Well, so that's dechlorinating it.
So if you use a lemon,
you could use lemon too.
So how much of a lemon would you use?
Well, okay, so I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what we do with the fish. For the fish, it's very important that all the chlorine is gone. Now, if you're experimenting with the plants, you can kind of guess a little bit. So, I don't know, half a lemon in a bucket. I mean...
How about rainwater? That would be...
Rainwater for your plants? It's dechlorinated, not for the fish. We don't use rainwater for the fish. No. Rainwater is got... Hi, come on in. I don't recommend using rainwater for fish because it's gotten exposure to pathogens. better to use water that you know has been treated, and then you're untreating the chlorine off of it. But I'm very pristine about my fish. I don't want them to have anything bad going on, so that's why. If you want to experiment with rainwater, that's up to you. Rainwater doesn't have any chlorine in it, so
That's what I thought.
yeah, no chlorine in rainwater. Okay, so the benefit is you're raising some of your own food. You had a fish farm. You're going to have this balanced, mild nutrient, because now you've got the dechlorinated water that you're using for your fish. And the fish, you feed the fish are going to be pooping in the water and adding their nutrient. Bacteria play a role. They process this fish poop to make it so that the plants can use it. So it's important to have an environment that the bacteria are healthy in too, because they are an important part of this ecosystem. And more or less, it's how our ancestors did it. Not that long ago. I mean, more or less 50 years ago, people were pretty much raising their own food. How many of you know that your grandparents were raising, your parents, your grandparents, or great-grandparents were raising their own food? Maybe even a fish pond.
Right now.
Yeah, right now. Maybe even a fish pond. This was pretty typical. So I was reading a little bit from the book. I wanted to just mention a little bit about this book, Getting Food from Water. It's a book from 1978, and it's available online. Used copies are about $5. And Gene Lawson has a blog called The Contrary Farmer blog. So I'll just mention that because it's kind of an interesting book. There's some cute topics in here, among which are raising. He talks about, okay, let me just mention something from here. He talks about, he's got the 1, 2, 3 approach too, kind of like how I talk about, sort of. He talks about the many faces of freshwater wetlands, the cranberry bog, which we couldn't really have here, the peat bog, the beaver pond. Well, anyhow, but he talks about a plant you can grow, which is watercress. It grows right in water. So not only can you grow something in soil, but you can grow plants right in water. Watercress is one. There's various plants that you can grow right in water. And I have a method of growing lettuce right in water. Okay, so you've got your garden. So what's for dinner? Let's hope it's food you can grow. And a backyard fish farm can kind of help complete that. We call it aquaponics. It's growing fish and plants in water. And aquaponics is based on an ecosystem. The ecosystem is the plants feed the fish feed the plants. Bacteria is part of this circle of life. It goes on. It's important to understand this if you're going to do this aquaponics, aquaculture thing, how this fits together. So what's an ecosystem? When I talk to the elementary school kids, we do a little interactive demonstration. I have one kid gets to be the human being, and another kid gets to be the fish, and the human being feeds the fish, and the kid gets to be the fish, and then it's eating, and then pooping, and then somebody gets to be water. And I made 3 of them volunteer to be the 3 kinds of beneficial bacteria. And then the water volunteers, it's H2O, right? So I have to have 2 H's and an O. And then why do we need an O? Well, fish breathe oxygen. Oh, wow, I thought human beings breathe oxygen. Well, fish do too. They just breathe it in water. Well, anyhow, it's all kind of an education process. Okay. So why would we want to farm fish? How many of you have heard that farmed fish is not good? Yeah, we've all heard that. And here's Sherilyn, here's Salapia Mama up here saying, well, sure, why don't you just add a fish farm? But you've heard from somewhere out there that farmed fish is not good. But okay, let's talk about some reasons why it might be a good idea to farm fish. What are one of the problems that we're having with fish right now that are caught out in the wild? You know, fishermen. What would a fisherman tell you is a problem?
Mercury.
Mercury. What else? You've got pollution in the water. Overfishing. We're kind of wiping them out. Who heard about this, I don't know if it's a rumor mill or an announcement, where is it possible that we could have an agreement with Japan where they can hunt California gray whales for meat? Yeah. Did you hear that?
For research purposes only.
No, that's how they do it now, no. There's a new discussion about approving them to hunt gray whales for meat. So what is it? Yes. So what does that tell you? telling me is we're running out of fish. Gray whales are